Have you ever had a time in your life where things are just harder to do? I am going through a version of that right now. I'm somehow missing meetings occasionally. I am skipping on my to dos, and I'm feeling overall less organized. So, today's episode is for me and hopefully for a lot of you about how to get back on track when you feel yourself a little bit off balance. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now, and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show.
You know what's dangerous about success in real estate? And this might surprise you. It's the fact that the things that grow your business in the beginning can and will quietly destroy your life later if you never learn how to recalibrate. Because in this particular industry, being constantly available, always on, it gets rewarded. Answering every call, responding to every text, like milliseconds later, taking every meeting, saying yes to every single opportunity. This is what gets you started. This is what gets you ahead. For a while, it works. Your business grows. Your network grows, your income increases, your visibility expands. And that's integral. It's absolutely integral to your success. But eventually, and I have an imagination, this is going to resonate with you. Under the surface, something begins to feel off. It's like you're operating at 80, maybe 70% of your typical capacity. I mean, you're on all the time. Your nervous system never settles down. You can't shut your brain off. And sure, you might be physically present when you're with your spouse or your children. But if we're being honest, you're still mentally at work. thinking about the next deal, the email you need to send, what you could have done better in a previous negotiation or conversation. And you always come back to the same justifications. You tell yourself, once I close this deal, things will change. Once I hire this person, I'll get back to basics. Once things slow down. But you and I both know you're just lying to yourself because things never slow down. There's always another deal, another person to hire. And at this point in your career, the issue isn't your workload anymore. It's that somewhere along the way, you drifted away from the routines, boundaries, and fundamentals that kept you grounded. And it's honestly a lot like driving to a dream destination and missing a turn. And for most people, when they're on their way, on that proven path the GPS has told them to get them to their dream destination, when they realize they're off track, oh shit, they start to panic. They speed up. They start taking random turns. They search for a shortcut. And high performers who are struggling to get to that next level of success, they do the exact same thing in life and in business. The moment that you feel overwhelmed, unclear, emotionally exhausted, and just disconnected from yourself, you make the mistake of trying to solve that problem by doing more, by going faster. You think the solution is more strategy, more thinking, more opportunity, more movement. But if we come back to that driving and GPS analogy, think about the last time you got off track or made a wrong turn driving to an intended destination. What did your GPS tell you to do? I know damn well it didn't tell you to make 5 left turns, put the gas pedal to the metal, and go as fast as you can and drive like a maniac. No. It simply paused for a moment. It recalculated. It found the quickest and safest way to make a U turn to get back on track of the intended original path. It doesn't tell you to keep driving further and further, faster and faster, and hope and pray you stumble across the return path. It tells you to return to the original route. And I think that's exactly what you need to hear right now. If you're feeling off track, disconnected, like your head is barely above water, you don't need another productivity hack. You don't need another AI bot. You don't need more motivation. You need to return to the fundamentals that made you effective before success made you reactive. Welcome back to the show within the show. Another episode of the inner game of real estate success here on the Keeping It Real podcast, the last Thursday of the month. I'm so grateful you're here. My name is Paul Salter. I'm a high performance hypnotherapist and mindset coach. I specifically work with owners, founders, CEOs, executives, ambitious professionals in the real estate and financial services spaces to help them get unstuck out of their own way so that they can lock in and level up. And I specifically use hypnosis to help them unlearn the destructive patterns of believing, feeling, thinking, and behaving that keep them stuck underperforming from their potential. I'm also the host of the Unstuck High Performer podcast, which is for successful people just like you who know they're capable of more, but feel stuck, underperforming relative to their potential. This is the show for you if you know what to do to get ahead, achieve that next goal, but aren't consistently doing it. And every week, twice a week, myself and the incredible guests I have deliver identity deep level conversations to help you get unstuck and out of your own way to perform at the level you know you're capable of performing at. Now, I want to address already as we come back to this conversation some potential resistance or misunderstanding. I get it. To get where you are today, you had to sprint. You had to be always available, always on. In fact, the fastest way to acquire new skills and rapidly strengthen them is through reps, experience, time in the fire. You need to take every single call, every listing, every appointment. You need those repetitions, negotiating deals, executing contracts, navigating clients and conversations, both the easy ones and the challenging ones. You have to have this consistent, constant exposure. You have to sprint if you truly want to separate yourself from the competition and stand out. The challenge, however, is you have not learned how to stop sprinting. In fact, I have an imagination that feels unsafe to slow down because the thought of slowing down invokes feelings of anxiety, FOMO, guilt. There's a deep core belief that if I slow down, I will fall behind. And I get it. I've been there. When I first started my coaching career, believe it or not, this is year 17 for me. There was a period of time where I was a coach on a team. And basically, this company would just give me the client. The client would sign up through them, get assigned a coach, or choose me as a coach. So they would send me the money. They would take their cut. They would send me the client information. I'd reach out and take care of the rest. And it was always up to me if I wanted to have, a green light available for new clients or a red light unavailable for new clients for a period of time. For 5 years, that light was always green. And in a very short amount of time, I worked with thousands of clients. And I truly attribute that period of time to providing me the foundation, the skill set, the awareness, the ability to quickly spot patterns and solutions. I credit that period with really propelling my career to the next level. You know what also happened during that time? I went through a divorce. I lost myself. I ruined relationships with friends, strained relationships with families, inconsistently took care of myself, battled major injuries, minor injuries, aches, pains, unexplainable sicknesses. For what? As a result of that success became harder and harder to attain. I couldn't work as effectively. I couldn't work as efficiently. I lost key figures in my life, key relationships, places of love, support, safety. And it was because I learned how to sprint and never learned how to slow down and recalibrate. And the distinction here I want to make is you need to have an understanding between intensity, which I'm using synonymously with sprinting, and consistency. Both are vital for success. And what you need to understand is that intensity, always being on, available for your clients, addicted to your CRM and all of the AI latest integrations and innovations. Intensity is necessary to get ahead and achieve next level success. Change is what happens as a result of intensity. But it's what you achieve through intensity that is maintained by consistency. There's this concept in the world of sports, in the world of weightlifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting, known as periodization. And perhaps the most simple and relatable explanation is if you think of an Olympic 100-meter sprinter, he or she is not just relentlessly sprinting for 4 years in order to be in peak shape to perform at their best during that 10-second race. There are intentional periods of time where intensity of training is really high, intensity is really low. Volume of training, frequency, number of repetitions and runs is really high and really low. Rest is minimal, rest is maximized. And that's a separate conversation for an entirely different podcast when it comes to the science, the physiology, the emotionality and psychology behind that. But the case in point being, there are intentional periods of sprinting, down regulating, and resting. And if the best of the best, the most gifted, athletic, hardworking individuals in the world are abiding by these principles and having immense success, why are you or me any different? We can learn a tremendous amount about this. What's happened with you is I have an imagination that when you got started, there was at least some semblance of a foundation of self care, blocked out time with family, loved ones, children. And as you continued to sprint, gaining more visibility, more traction, more opportunity, you started making trade offs, sacrificing first your own self care. Maybe you started working out less frequently, relying more on fast, convenient, easy, not so nutritious food choices, sacrificing your sleep. And inevitably, that then turned into sacrificing quality time with your husband or wife, quality time with your children. And you might think it's noble. Oh, it's so noble of you, Jenny, to take that call at 11:59 p.m. But if you haven't yet gone to bed, or you had and now you're waking up, you're impacting your sleep, which then impacts your ability to show up at the gym that next morning at 5 o'clock, which then impacts your willingness to eat the nutritious, healthy meal or food options prepared for you at your home. There's always a downstream domino effect. And it's not just you who pays the consequences. Those closest to you and your loved ones do too. What's happening is you're putting your clients, your work above both yourself and those you say are most important to you. Like, it baffles me how many real estate agents will say that family is most important, but they're fucking working 7 days a week. They're always on, they're checking their email, they're responding to texts and calls while they're with their family. And again, I'm not perfect at this, and I'm not demanding or asking perfection of you, but I'm telling you it's not sustainable. And while it's quietly eroding your mental, physical, and emotional health, this pattern of behavior is also quietly eroding your relationships, building resentment, creating friction. And if you continue to recklessly sprint towards more success, you will lose yourself. You will lose your health. You will lose your well being and the relationships that are most important to you. All of those things collectively that allowed you this opportunity to get where you are today in the first place. The answer, if you're feeling disconnected right now, if you're feeling off, if you're feeling stuck, like you're barely keeping your head above water, the answer is not to do more. It's not more meetings, more appointments, more outreach. The answer, if you're feeling off track, stuck, and disconnected, is to return to the key fundamentals that help you feel your best, to do less better. And I want to walk you through a simple exercise you can do to begin auditing this. Like, candidly, if you're not operating at your best right now, if you are bogged down by this emotional baggage, this unexplainable exhaustion, you've seen the warning signs, the red flags. Stop ignoring them. Let this be your wake up call now to take a step back, to take your foot off the gas and really reassess what is and what isn't important to you. Because candidly, the money making opportunity will always be there. Time with your 7-year-old daughter and your 5-year-old son will not. Because just like this, she'll be 15, he'll be 13, she'll be 28, he'll be 26. Then what? You've missed out on this precious time. Your relationship with your husband or wife has eroded to the point of separation or divorce. So, what I want you to do is I want you to just simply open your calendar right now. Your calendar is a direct reflection of what's most important to you. What does your calendar say? Are you guilty of touting how important family is, yet your calendar only reflects your appointments, your team meetings, your listings, your showings? I hope you do feel called out if that's true. I also hope you know you're not alone. Just let that soak in for a moment. You're all about family, you're all about self care, yet all that you prioritize and schedule on your calendar is one listing, one showing, one meeting, one admin block after the next. What about date night? What about family time? And most importantly, what about you time? Time for exercise, time for self care, that massage, that 10-minute or 20-minute block to meditate, to sauna, time with friends, time on the golf course with the bros, girls' night out. Why isn't that on the calendar? The mistake so many people make when they start getting ahead and having success that inevitably leads to them getting off track is they stop scheduling time for themselves and what was originally important to them. They get away from their values, their priorities change, and they lose sight of what's really important. And their calendar slowly but surely begins to reflect that. So, your opportunity here is to take a hard, honest look at your calendar. And rather than prioritizing scheduling your listings, showings, appointments, and meetings, schedule self care time first. You need to block out time, not just time for your workout, but the travel time, the shower, and meal time as well. Have your workouts on your calendar. Have your massages, your date nights with your significant other, your date nights and family time with your children. Have all of that on the calendar first and build your life around that. Now, it's possible that logically you understand this. And internally, right now, there's some resistance, some tension, some friction. You might feel in your belly, your chest, your traps in your shoulders because it scares you. It might mean you're less available. It might mean you work a few less hours per week. And the reason that scares you is because it's become such a foreign thing, a foreign concept. I had the privilege of interviewing a gentleman who owns and operates 7 different seven-figure businesses. He doesn't work weekends. He doesn't get to the office until 9, even 10 a.m. some days. He's always out of the office by 5 p.m. And he golfs once or twice during the week. And again, he has 7 multi seven-figure businesses. And this is episode 161 of the Unstuck High Performer podcast. Can't recommend it enough. But the main takeaway that I extracted from this conversation, I love it, is he talked about some of his earlier chapters of life where there were struggles and challenges, and there were all of these limitations he was facing that ultimately spawned innovation, creativity. And he took those learning lessons to now intentionally create limitations to force innovation and creativity. So in this case, his limitation is his time. He's working 7 or 8 hours a day, and he's running multiple businesses at a very high level. So he has to learn how to be as effective and efficient as possible in this limited amount of time, because his family is literally priority number one, as is his self-care, which he blocks out his gym time in the morning, and he's with his family at 5 o'clock every day when he leaves the office. So that intentional limitation forced innovation and creativity, which now has allowed him to thrive personally, professionally, familially, and financially. And this principle is applicable here to our conversation, because as you go and audit and update your calendar and you prioritize time for you, your family, your values, what you love and cherish the most outside of work, you're going to find there are less waking hours to work. And you can see that as a threat, or you can see it as an opportunity. How creative can you get? How better can you become at delegating, automating, editing, or simply eliminating the tasks that no longer serve you, that are unnecessary at this stage of your career? Intentional limitation drives innovation and creativity. And you might just find that if you accept this challenge, this opportunity, you can go faster and get further ahead while working less. and living the aligned lifestyle you want. Like, let's be candid. You got into real estate to not only make a lot of money, but to have that financial freedom, that time freedom. And you've continued to work yourself further and further away from that, thinking you're one more deal away, one negotiation away, one new hire away. But you've lost sight of yourself. You've disconnected and detached from the core fundamentals and values of who you are that leave you feeling aligned, fulfilled, at your best. And it's time to get back on track by returning to the fundamentals, auditing your calendar, prioritizing what's truly a priority, and building your work life around the dream life that you want to live. Not when you close another deal, but today. That will propel significant and sustainable success. I hope you found immense value in today's conversation. I hope you feel challenged. I hope you feel inspired. And I thank you so much for spending time with me today. If I can be of any more support to you, again, I encourage you to check out the Unstuck High Performer podcast. You're going to find a lot of value there if today's conversation resonated with you. You can connect with me on all social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, at the Paul Salter. And if you know you need that additional support and accountability to get unstuck and out of your own way, every single one of my podcast episodes, including this one, in the show notes is a link to apply for one-on-one private coaching. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Until then, go back and listen to this episode once more. Drop a rating and a review for the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, and take action. Take action on what it is we discussed today and make today great.